Hei alle norskstudentene mine! Hi all my Norwegian students. So today's lesson was actually going to be about adjectives, but I think I've decided that we need to talk a little bit more about nouns and their different forms before we are quite ready for adjectives. So today it will be a tiny bit of review. It'll be a quick little lesson and I'll give it a few days to sink in. So today we need to talk about definite and indefinite nouns in the singular and plural. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I say definite or indefinite noun, allow me to explain. So an indefinite noun is anything that is non-specific. So for example, if I say an apple, that is completely non-specific, right? An apple could be any apple. But if I say the apple, then suddenly I'm talking about one specific apple, right? So we talked about this a little bit, as I said, in lesson number 1, but just to review, in Norwegian, we have, for example, et eple is an apple, and then to make it specific, you need to take the article at the front of the word and attach it to the end of the word instead. So the apple would be eple. And in this situation, for et words, when it's a definite noun that ends in et, the t will always be silent. So we don't say eplet, we say eple. All right, and the same thing goes for an words. We have, for example, en lampe is a lamp. If I want to say the lamp, I would say lampen. So you just take the article at the front of the word and attach it to the end instead, and thus we go from indefinite to definite. Now let's talk about plural. Plural nouns can also be definite and indefinite, right? So if I just say apples, then I'm talking about apples in general. That's not anything specific, that's just apples, right? If I say the apples, then suddenly I'm talking about a specific group of apples, right? So in Norwegian, for a noun to be plural, it always needs to end in er. So for a noun that already ends in an e, you don't have to add an extra er, you just add an r to it. So again, we have the example et eple is an apple. If we say epler, that is apples. And again, with lampe, we have en lampe is a lamp. Lamper would be lamps. Again, the same thing applies to nouns that don't end in e. I can take, for example, en bro, which is a bridge, and then I would have to say broer would be bridges. Now, to make something both plural and definite, it needs to end in ene. So going back to et eple, we have eplene to be the apples, right? So all 4 forms of that word, we have et eple, an apple, eple, the apple, epler, apples, and eplene is the apples. So the same thing applies to n words when they're plural. It doesn't matter if it's n or et in terms of the er and ene endings. So we would have en lampe, a lamp, lampen, the lamp, lamper, lamps, and lampene would be the lamps. For our bridge example, we have en bro, right, a bridge. Broen is the bridge. Broer, bridges, and broene would be the bridges. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this. I'm keeping it short and sweet today so that can sink in quickly, and I'll get back to you guys with adjectives in a few days. I will, of course, my darlings, leave you with this lesson's bonus word. So today I'm going to tell you about a phrase, a Norwegian phrase, of course, which I think is just a little weird. So in Norwegian, when something is kind of strange or a bit off, or I guess in English we would say smells fishy. In Norwegian you would say ugler I mosen, which directly translates to owls in the moss. So en ugle is an owl and mose is moss. So ugler I mosen is owls in the moss. So you could say, for example, her det ugler I mosen. Here there are owls in the moss, which basically is just a way of saying that like something strange is going on here. Something's a bit fishy or something like that. So There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this short little lesson. Thank you so much for watching.